I made my first $1 million when I was 19, so a lot of people are like, how the f did that happen? Financial advice. Can I get in trouble for that?
Yeah.
This is... All right. I plan on going broke probably 3 more times before I, like, figure my shit out. What if your son is gay? Like,
ooh, man. Man, yeah.
Both of those would traumatize me.
Yeah. It would be,
it would be a bummer for you. Maybe you're supposed to have 17 gay sons. Maybe that's what you need in your life.
Oh.
This drop's actually really good. Drops Tuesday. The pants are fire. I'll pop up some pictures on the screen so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. But really, really big fan of this drop. They're doing a lot more of the streetwear stuff. Of course, being in Florida this time of year, it storms every single damn day around the same time. I don't get why anybody would want to live here.
All right, so what's going on, guys? I got a special guest here. The one and only. Want to introduce yourself, brother?
My name is Togi, T-O-G-I. Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked about this.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So basically, I don't know if you guys have been like, I would like to say that in a sense we're like kind of like opposites, because I've mentioned you a few times in like recent videos, all out of love. Like it's all like, it's funny because like you said, like people thought probably that we were gonna like beef on here and whatnot, but it's funny because we have a mutual friend. So for me, like Brandon Clark is a mutual friend of ours. So you grew up in Montana, right? Mm-hmm. So you knew him. He's like a content creator, and back when I started in like 2020, Brandon was also. So I started, following Brandon. I started seeing you, like you did some pods with him, right?
Yeah, I've done a couple.
Yeah, and that's where I started seeing you a bit, and then I started seeing your content a bit, and I think like the first main ones I saw on your channel was like the gear edits.
Yeah, the gear edits is like, that's what I first went viral for.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a while. I'm not really into it as much anymore. Like the short form content, just, I don't know. I prefer making long form content. It's a lot more fun. I get to know the audience gets to know me a lot better than just like me, like taking trend on camera and working out.
Yeah, no, to be honest, because like I have watched like some of your YouTube videos to get an idea, because usually from like the gear edits, I'm like thinking like, all right, whatever, but like you actually are mad entertaining on like the long form, which is hard to do. That's hard to do, because like today's day and age, like it's easy for a lot of people to pop off on like the short form stuff like TikTok, but to pop off on like the long form and to do well on that, it's hard to get someone to watch you for like 20 plus minutes without getting like, so if you're able to do that, then that's impressive. So I asked people to ask us topics specifically to talk about. I was looking through it when I was in the bathroom. I posted it on my Snap, because I mean there's a few things I definitely want to bring up.
You're gonna add me back on Snap? You're the only person on my Snapchat that
I don't
have me added back, so it's like it all looks good, and then it's the one square. Alex Eubank said I gotta fucking watch you like a fan.
No,
which I am a fan, by the way. I've been watching Eubanks since I was 18.
See, that's wild to me. That's because we had a conversation before we started this, and we were talking a little bit about like I was saying I hope like the aesthetics era comes back, which we'll probably get into. But you said that's you when you were natty. When did you hop on exactly?
When I was 20, so that was like just about 12 months ago. Okay. Actually, yeah, my birthday was like 5 days ago. So yeah, like exactly a year ago hopped on. But before, it was, I loved the hard style, loved the aesthetics era. Thought Eubanks, David Lade, Skywalker. I thought that all that shit was so cool, and that's what I wanted when I was 18. That's all I wanted. It's like I just want to be shredded. I want to be aesthetic.
It's different now. I actually posted on my story the other day. I said, how much do you weigh?
I haven't weighed myself in it forever. I'd guess 225.
Okay, so I posted on my story. I said, would you rather be a juiced up 220 or a like natural lean aesthetic 170? And I think it was like a 72% towards the natural lean aesthetic, and then which honestly I was surprised that. I mean, if I would have posted that like I feel like 2 years ago, I feel like it would have been like 89, 90 something percent towards the aesthetic. Like,
if I posted that shit, it would be 95% like juiced up. Like, that my audience loves steroids.
Yeah. So, do you feel like, because I mean, obviously you've been following it a little bit. Do you feel like the narrative has switched in regards of people's how steroids are viewed? Like, do you feel like it's changed?
Yeah. Well, I think I don't know. When I was watching you and I wanted to be jacked, it wasn't like steroids are so frowned upon, but it was more like a scary land of the unknown. Yeah. And now you have people just like openly talking about like how much they love steroids, and it's kind of not as like this scary niche where it's like this huge, everybody knows about it now. So there's a lot of information that's readily available about it. So I don't think it's less frowned upon, because it's still very frowned upon amongst like your audience. I'm sure most of them
more
aren't
so.
big into the steroids. So I don't think it's that narrative has shifted, but I think it's just easier to find out about like how you can get started taking PEDs.
Got you. So do you like how many cycles have you done so far?
I'm on my third right now.
On your third? Okay.
Yeah,
How much muscle or how much weight did you gain off your first?
Well, that's what I went viral for was my first cycle because I was
remember
dialed
seeing
back
some,
then,
yeah.
and so I gained like 45 pounds of muscle. Well, that was in my first 2 cycles. So my first one, I don't know exactly what it was, but this cycle has been chalked. I've effectively wasted this whole cycle because I've just been like, I work out like 2-3 times a week. I eat whatever I want just because like I don't really care what I look like anymore. Like because it gets to a point where it's like once you have your dream physique, like, okay, like this is, I don't need to like, I'm not hungry for it anymore. Like I'm happy with how I look.
That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people who hop on gear, it's like, it becomes an issue because it's like you want to keep topping it. So do you feel like that's not you?
No, bro. A lot of people that I've talked to, like my roommate Udi, I've had this conversation with him. It was like the second we hopped on gear, and a lot of people like, it's not like, a lot of people, this is going to sound like an ad, but it's like, you take steroids, and then in 6 months, I had my dream physique. It was like, I didn't like how I looked, took steroids. 6 months later, I was like, you know what? I love how I look, and I don't need to be so like, I don't need to spend all my time in the gym. I don't need to. I used to be so stressed out to miss 2 days in a row, and now it's just like I can go and enjoy my life and like go on a vacation, eat, like have a nice dinner. It used to be like chicken and rice, but now I don't care. Yeah,
that's how I was, and I feel like as of the last year, I've definitely allowed my body. Like I'm not nearly as shredded as I used to always be. Like I sit around now like a really easy, maintainable like 12 to 13% body fat, probably 14 maybe. So like I'm not my crazy like shredded aesthetic like people, you know, I probably blow up off of, but I've gotten to a point now where like we just went on vacation, like I don't have to work out those days. I don't stress over it. But when I started, I was like nonstop. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night sometimes just to go make a protein shake because I'd be afraid I was going to become catabolic.
Well, you have like a different pressure on you than me because like I'm kind of known for like doing all the dumb shit I do, being entertaining, like gambling and all that. But you initially blew off of looking like having like the dream physique for a lot of these people. So there's more of a pressure for you definitely, or was to like look good. And I know Brandon feels the same way. He's always talking about like, I'm so excited to the cut get shredded because then the views go up. Yeah. And so I can see why that would be like an unhealthy relationship with it.
Oh yeah. And like I remember I got my testosterone levels checked, and this like I'm natural, and I got tested. It was at 215.
I remember that. Are you still low?
No, so last time I got it checked was probably 3 months ago, and I was at, I believe, 600.
Oh, word. So you're chilling. That's fully normal. I remember you were talking about taking TRT when you were first at 200. Why did you not do that?
I feel like, to me, and like the biggest thing that's always swayed me away from, like, first, I hate needles. Like, I know that's like probably like people might think that's just like, I don't like needles. Like, I hate getting my blood taken. Like, I hate needles, and I could not imagine myself like having to do that like twice a week for the rest of my life almost. There's just
dude, the payout is huge. Like you go into the doctor fucking twice a week, twice a week, and then I guess your testosterone's fine now. But for somebody that has chronically, like maybe you just got a bad night of sleep or something before you got tested, but somebody that has chronically low testosterone, like you would feel just 10 times better in all aspects of your life if you just one shot a week.
I mean, I was when I got it tested, I was probably single digit body fat for like 8 months straight. So I think a big part of it was just like dieting so long, limiting myself. I'm not directly opposed to TRT at a certain point. Like if you're like clearly in a healthy body fat range, you're clearly eating enough and your testosterone's messed up, or if like you're older, like, you know, 30s and it starts crashing, I'm not opposed to doing like 130 whatever milligrams, like whatever how it works, like a week to like stay in that like, you know, max 1,000 nanograms per deciliter range. I think that's perfectly fine, and I'm like cool with that. I think that could be healthy. I'm even like telling my dad he probably should look into it. I feel like a lot of kids will try to use that as an excuse now, and then it usually will like, it's like a gateway drug. I feel like it could be, and then it's like, oh, now you're already pinning yourself, so let's like add in some other shit, and then you go down the whole rabbit hole of steroid use.
Well, yeah, that's fair. I know a couple of my friends, they take like low dose testosterone, and at first it was like, oh yeah, I have low testosterone, like I'm gonna take a little test, but then it's like, okay, but now I can take Superdrol because like even though that crashes my testosterone, like I have the base to bring you back up. So I can see, I agree with that for sure, but just because something's a gateway drug doesn't mean like in itself it's not, you know, worth doing. It's kind of more of on your own self-control to not start taking Superdrol.
Well, yeah, I agree. But what do you feel about like? Do you think at all about like the side effects, or what is your stance on like what steroids could do to someone, especially probably the majority of the population, who, like, let's say younger kids who are getting into taking it and don't have the resources to take it in like a healthy way, meaning like getting their blood work done, specifically getting it done, like going like those TRT clinics. Like a lot of these kids, like they just might get it, on the internet or from somebody. Like, what do you think that like people should really look into the side effects and like what it could really do long term wise?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that everybody should, like, everything you put in your body affects, like, even if it's not steroids, and I think that I've been lucky enough to be able to take it in as safe of a way as I can. But it's also like I don't really think about it too much because I don't necessarily care what other people are doing with their bodies. Like seeing, like going through college. Did you go to college?
I went for 2 years, dropped out my third.
So like
year
you've seen how it goes. Like people do worse shit than steroids on a consistent basis. Like my lifestyle, a lot of people are like, "How is Togi alive? How is he sustaining this?" I'm probably one of the least degenerate out of all my college friends. Like those kids, I was the bitch of the group. Like they go 10 times harder than me.
Yeah, I've seen.
So people are the body is very resilient, generally speaking. And I've never really concerned myself with like what other people are doing with their bodies. It concerns me more. It's thrown in my face more now that I like post about it on the internet and people watch it. They're like, oh, like you're influencing these kids. But I'm not like here to influence people. Like I'm sharing my personal experience, but I'm not going to tell somebody like, well, I've a couple times I've said take steroids, but that was more of like a sarcastic,
like a joke
thing, like a joke. But that can get clipped out of context for sure. But generally speaking, like, yeah, I'm not telling people to do it.
Yeah, I'd say like, and I agree. Like even like Sam Selleck for you, it's like no one's really telling you outright of the twins to do it. I think it's more so of like these kids who see someone living or seeing the results and wanting it for themselves, and like, oh, this guy did it, so I can probably maybe do it. So I feel like it's not a direct, but I think it's an indirect promotion. And a lot of these kids, bro, like again, they're not like the. I mean, I know how I was when I was in high school. You really think very short term. Like you don't really, if you can get like a quick something, especially in today's day and age, like they'll do it. And I speak against the whole steroid thing just because like I think people should talk more so about the potential side effects of how people can react and place more of a emphasis on it rather than like all like the cool stuff that comes with it, like the pumps and like
that's why I stopped posting. Well, not necessarily exactly why, but like I don't post the gear edits anymore because those don't necessarily have a great draw the full picture. But I don't think you can hold people like myself or Sulik or the Trend Twins responsible to any degree for like anybody, because although they have like an influence, you have to, like, when you look at like the responsibility ladder, you have to just like effectively blame it on the user entirely, because you could say I have an influence on these kids, but then you look into it deeper, it's like, okay, so why does Togi do this? Oh, because I see Alex Eubanks, he lives my like dream life, he has cool cars, he's a fitness influencer, so now all of a sudden I want to be famous, I want to be like Eubanks. And I've talked about this before, I took steroids largely because I wanted to be famous at first.
Really?
And so it's like, okay, now is it Alex Eubanks for creating Togi? Is it your fault now that these kids are influenced by me? So I think, and then you can go further down that ladder forever. So I think you just have to bite it off at the source. Like this kid, you got to let him learn. And I made plenty of mistakes as a kid. Like, I did a shit ton of drugs as a kid. And like overall, I learned from them and it was a positive experience overall. And like sometimes like it just doesn't work out, and that's natural selection. If I died at a young age because of my poor decisions, like that was self-inflicted, and maybe you can place responsibility on the parents, and that I would say as far as I would go.
Got you. I feel like for me, my opinion of it, I feel like as influencers we ought to have, I'm all about balance for me, so like that's why I like to have a lot of like not just lifting stuff. I'm big on like the faith and a lot of that, because like being on a platform, I still think there should be a job, just like as a human morality. I feel like that God has put on my heart. It's just like to try to do some good with it. So if I know I'm in control of, like, in a sense, maybe I could prevent someone from possibly taking it in an unhealthy way, like I'm going to speak against it. Because I do believe you can take steroids in a sense in a healthy way, but I know that like 99% of the population probably does not know how to go about it. They just see like, oh, good pump, get big. Like they don't like see the intricacies that can be involved in it, which I feel like a lot of bodybuilders have to like kind of get into. So my biggest concern and why I speak against it so much is just because I know like a lot of these kids are just going to crash out, take it, probably not get much results from it because they haven't even been training long naturally to begin with, and then you either regret it and then have to be on like TRT for the rest of their life, or like, you know, they could have just maybe made a better decision. And I don't know, I feel like people take it for the wrong reasons too. So like, I think it stems from for a lot of kids taking it now, I think it stems from a bigger issue on their own self of them actually being potentially insecure of their physique. Body dysmorphia, of course, which we've all struggled with. And then also too, I think some of it can be envy, especially now, like men trying to become better than their friends. So I feel like a lot of kids who hop on gear, they might be saying it's, oh, I want to get bigger or whatnot, but I think it comes from underlying issues that they're not truly happy with themselves, and they only find happiness in the gym. So if they can find something that can emphasize that even more, they do it. So I always speak on like finding, because I'm religious, so like finding faith, happiness in God, that fulfills me. Anything else other than that is just extra. So I feel like people find they get their value from the wrong things, such as their PR going up or their weight going up, and then that gives them that dopamine rush. So they want more of it. But in reality, like I doubt when you're on your deathbed, when you're like 80, whatever years old, you're going to be thinking about like how sick you looked when you were in your 20s. You're probably going to be thinking about...
You don't think? I think because it's an achievement. It's something that as you go through life, you know, you're like ticking off boxes of like things that you've accomplished. And it took years for you to build your physique that you, like whatever your best physique was. You don't think that means anything to you on your deathbed? Like it took years of your life of dedication.
If you were literally dying on your deathbed, I feel like my main concern will be thinking of my family and the loved ones around me.
But that's the thing. It's like now your physique has gotten you to the point where you can provide everything for your family. Like having a good physique benefits a man's life in such a dramatic fashion that it's not just big muscles. Now you can do cool things for your family and all this. So like it plays in.
But you could do it naturally though.
You can do it naturally, but here's the thing. I'm not saying taking steroids for bigger muscles is for everybody, but like in my experience, it was I want to do everything in my life as fast as I can. It like bugs me that I couldn't take my mom on a vacation or this and that today. So it's like, what can I do to make this happen quicker now for me?
Why do you feel that's the case? You feel like you have a limit on time, or I mean, I've obviously in a sense we do, but because
I feel so like if I'm not. It's like it's just the hunger, you know, like the drive to achieve what you want. I feel if I'm not getting there as fast as I possibly can, I feel almost like a loser, like I'm wasting my time. I'm not doing everything I can do to achieve my goals. If I'm not doing everything I can do, I feel like I'm wasting my potential.
Do you feel like though there's like you should still have a balance or ethical way to get it? Like, would you rather take a non-ethical way to the top, or would you rather take a slower, more ethical way?
What do you see as like putting steroids in my body as like to not be ethical?
No, I would say like, well, because you're using I guess the argument that it's going to get you there quicker. When to be honest, I don't think that's the truth. I don't think that's the case. Like some people, if you really do things right, I think you can get there quicker. And then two, I think.
But what does right mean? Like, what's your definition of doing it right?
I think doing it right is not only just thinking about yourself, but thinking about others along the way. So in a sense, trying to be selfless. So knowing that even though it's not you directly, but in a sense being on steroids and you know, in a sense at one point glorifying it could potentially have other kids who are not the smartest make a dumb life decision by doing that. So I feel like there's an ethical way. Not to say that, because I'm not trying to say like my way was better or not. It's just I feel like there's a good way to the top where if it's a little bit slower, but you can, in a sense, not just think about yourself, but others too. I think that's like a more ethical approach to it, even if it does take longer, if you do it a little bit more of a way that you're considering what other people might do. Does that make sense?
No, I see what you're saying. So like by me posting about my steroid use, it potentially reduces the ethics of the route in which I've taken. But it goes back to the original argument. Like I said, one of the big reasons I hopped on was to be famous, but it was also like I always wanted to be famous. I always wanted to take steroids, and I always loved drinking, gambling, cocaine, whatever. Like I always loved all that stuff. So when I went viral, it was like I'm just gonna be me in the most like purest, aggressive form of myself. And it's not like all I am is an entertainer. It's the same idea as like, are we gonna tell people to not smoke crack on a movie? Obviously, like it would be me actually smoking crack because it's like vlogs, which I don't smoke crack. We're working on it, but the point is that I can't sit here and be concerned about influencing others in a positive manner. Even though that's the route you've chosen to take, I've chosen the route of purely entertainment. And I think most people that watch me don't take it as in like I want to be like him. And I post my blood work. Like if anything, Greg Doucette just posted a video about me about how like I'm on the verge of death, and a lot of people see that stuff and it's like, oh, okay, like maybe I don't want to take steroids. Yeah. So like it's hard to diagnose or exactly say the influence that I have, because for all I know, I could be. I get a lot of people in my comments saying, "Damn, like I never want to gamble again after watching Togi lose that 200,000."
Yeah, I think I mean in a sense too. I think you could be helping people even with just entertaining. Some people need that who are like really depressed or whatnot. Sometimes entertainment in a sense can help them. So I don't think everything you're doing is in a sense bad. But going back to I guess the part of like getting there quicker, like do you feel like, I don't know, for me personally, getting the social media thing, I feel like I never placed it in my own hands, and that gave me so much more peace with the timeline of it. It's like putting it like, for me being like, are you religious at all or no?
It's we're working on it. I am, like, I do believe in God. I'm just not educated on it. I was talking to Brandon about it because I was like, I don't understand Christianity, like this weird set of rules that I have to follow, and like there's a lot of things that have been associated with Christianity that like don't follow my personal book of ethics. But then he just said, don't worry about Christianity, just follow the path of Jesus Christ. Yeah. And that made sense to me. So that is where I'm leaning towards, is following Jesus.
All right, real quick, sorry to interrupt the podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying it, but I had to make a quick announcement. This is just, if you guys are interested in potentially making money on social media, due to the amount of people that I've been seeing being able to quit their jobs and just do social media full time, whether it's mastering TikTok shop or becoming a well-known content creator, me and one of my friends are launching a course. Not even just a course, but like kind of like a community, like a club. We're launching it at the end of this month. If you guys are interested potentially in anything like that, I'll have a wait list down below in the pinned comment as well as the description.
I'm just not educated about it, and I've not put enough effort into it to like really have a strong opinion on where I stand with that. But I would like to learn more about it.
What like part of the ethics do you feel like conflicts with yours? Let me just make sure this is recording so you can go there.
Well, just like things like events like the crucifix or what is it called?
The crucifixion.
Yeah, crucifixion or whatever. Or no, what is it? It's something else. No, what is the word? I don't know. There's been a lot of like war and death surrounding. No, not resurrection. There's been a lot of war and death surrounding a lot of religions. Crusades, yeah. So and it's just like I don't understand exactly like how am I supposed to like associate with that? And I don't know a whole lot about it.
So the Crusades happened as a reaction to Islamic aggression on Christian countries. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't it was a retaliatory act as these Islamic insurgents and whatnot going into a like 20 plus countries basically attacking them in a sense, and the Crusades was a response to that aggression. So people don't understand that. People that like if you actually
I don't understand it. I've not educated
so I encourage you to look into that, because like I know people try to use the whole crusade argument of like Christianity. They use Christianity to support violence, but they were using it as a means to try and the Islamic people were like aggressively trying to limit Christianity. So it was like more of a retaliatory act of the Crusades. So not that like again on both sides there's going to be right and wrong. Still Christians 100% probably did a lot of wrong things in the Crusades. But overall, that was a reaction. So like, I guess going back to the whole Christian thing. So you would be leaning towards Christianity. You would say, is that the only moral thing you feel like that conflicts?
Well, no, some
believe?
things it just like doesn't make sense to me. Like not having sex before I get married, or I forget exactly what it said in the Bible. But something along the lines of like
it talks about more so the concept of like lust and adultery.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I'm fucking horrible about that. So it's like, am I supposed to restructure my life? And a lot of things I do, like again, this is all like everything I say about this is like I've not directly read the Bible, so it's like heard from another person, so it's might get lost in translation a little bit. But it sounds like taking steroids would be another thing that is not really within the ethical guideline of the Bible. So it seems like a lot of the things I do in my life, like I would have to restructure my whole life to identify as a good Christian, and that's something.
Okay, so there's no such thing as a good Christian. First off,
what no such thing as a good Christian.
But the way for me, I'm like a history nerd, right? So for me, it's like if there was a man named Jesus who walked this earth, claimed to be God, died and rose again, and there's documents showing people saw him risen, meaning he probably is. If he really is who he said he was, meaning he's like God in the flesh. Mm-hmm. if he teached certain things and that proves to me that there was a God bigger than myself, even if that kind of goes against my flesh of what I want, I ought to learn to understand that his way might be better than what I think is the best way, is the right way. So like, for me, if Jesus is real and if he is who he said he was, the things that he taught, although it might not align with how we're living now, maybe is a better way.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
It might be a better way. And you won't know that until you actually go along that line. So like, I try and explain to people, because people see Christianity as like sometimes in a wrong view, I think, as a book of rules that you ought to follow. And if you don't follow this, then it's like you're a bad Christian or whatever. It's not that. It's to understand, like, in the Old Testament, it's a sin to murder, right? But Jesus takes it a step further in the Sermon on the Mount. He says it's not only a sin to murder, it's a sin to look at a person with anger, because you're basically committing murder in your heart. But I can say confidently, I don't care how close I am to God, I will always continue to naturally be angry with people. So what Jesus is saying there, it's not you have to live by these guidelines. It's pointing it to him, meaning you look at the way that he taught and you realize, like, I can't go to this standard. Like, I don't care how close I get to you, God. Like, I can't. And then it points you to the man who was able to reach every single standard, which is Jesus. So Jesus, out of his love for you, right? God came down into a man to have a relationship with you. Because how else can we relate to God, realistically? How can we relate to a God if he's up in heaven, we never see him? Or can you relate to a God if he chooses to came down as a man? Then you can relate to him because he's a man. You can only relate to another man. You can only relate on someone who also has felt anger, or who also has felt lust, or also has felt fear or sadness, right? You can only relate to someone who also has felt those things. So God loved us so much that he wanted to have a relationship. The only way that we could relate is if he came as a man. So that's who Jesus is. And then he lived the perfect life that we couldn't live. You know what I mean? Because he loved us so much. And God is a just and a righteous God, right? So the same way our society works, if someone murders somebody, you're put on trial, you go to jail, right? If you sin in God's eyes, it says the wages of sin in the Bible is death. The wages of sin is death. So when you sin, your spirit, in a sense, is dying. And God is a just and a righteous God, so therefore he has to punish accordingly. Those who are righteous are rewarded. Those who are unlawful and sinful are punished, as a just God should be, right? Like, we should all can agree, like, Hitler should go to hell, in a sense. Like, if you commit wrong, you should go to hell. And if God let Hitler into heaven, in a sense, if he didn't come to Jesus, like, that's not a loving God. Why would God allow people who did all this bad and harm into heaven? That's not a loving God. God loves us, so he rewards the righteous and punishes the evil. So basically, the wages of sin is death. So Jesus, God, came in the form of a man to live with every temptation that we have lived, but did not fumble, did not fold into any of these temptations. So therefore, he was seen as pure, and he took the punishment on the cross for all of our sins if we choose to put faith in him. And I used to, like, always wonder, like, okay, why did he have to die? Like, what's the point of, like, why is there an exchange of value for dying, and that somehow covers, like, my sins? That's what I used to struggle with. But when you look at how the Israelites in the Old Testament were beforehand, when you sin, because the wages of sin is death, a part of your spirit dies. God is so holy and infinite and perfect that if you can't go in the presence of God if you have sin. If you directly disobey God, that's why we got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You can't be in his presence naturally because he is so holy. If we are not holy, we can't be in the presence of God. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm following.
So in the Old Testament, they would sacrifice, like, bulls and doves, and the bloodshed, the death of that animal, in a sense, would cover as an atonement for sin, so they could get closer to God, in a sense. There had to be an atonement. There had to be a exchange of value, meaning you sin, you die. The only thing that can cover that death is the death of something else, because that gives it life. It's an exchange, like, of energy, almost, is like a way to put it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
and I've always had, like, because that was the best explanation that I've ever heard as far as, like, the Jesus died for your sins thing. I've never heard anybody explain it in such a light. That makes perfect sense. So in your pursuit influencing, you feel like no matter what, if you're posting on the internet, like, say, like, if Jesus were to be an influencer, like, he would be a good influence even if he was just to be, like, an entertainer. So that's why you feel that way.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. And so if you were to look at my content, what exactly about it do you think needs to, or is not necessarily ethical? Because I think that I place a very fair evaluation of the vices that I choose to participate in. Like, I post my blood work online. Like, people see that the steroids, like, a lot of people watch me and they see the rawest form of what it looks like to gamble. Like my last YouTube video is like lose all this money, and it's not like the classic like 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. Like no, Togi just lost all that fucking money and there was no big win. It was fucked. Yeah. Same with the steroids. Like I have gyno, I'm going bald. That's the biggest thing. I'm going bald rapidly. I have acne, so it's like it's not like I'm sitting here. I'm displaying what it's like to use these vices, and people still think it looks fun because I think it's fun too. Like I still do them, and I think it's a good time. But it's not like I'm glorifying it by any means.
I'd say you do a better job at it now. I'd say when I first initially was seeing like the gear edits, that's where I was more so like, all right, this is
I
like,
agree with that.
Like that, you know what I mean? That's where it was like, it'll still work. It'll still work. We're good.
All right, word. My apologies, podcast.
It's a big boy. Here, let me see it. I can fix it.
Quick pause. I know. Fuck, that was the expensive one too, huh? Thank God.
Going back to that, what we were talking basically. So I think your old content, I'd be like, all right. I think now, because obviously someone sees your video, you losing hella money, they're gonna be like, yo, I'm not gambling. Like, there's just no way I'm gonna do this. But again, I just think and I don't think what you're doing is like, I'm not gonna say your way is like wrong or bad, and my way is. Or I think though, in a sense, being whether or not you asked for it, being an influencer and being on a platform where you can reach other people, our job as humans, in a sense, is to love one another. So I think there's a way where you can like, I can still do it and be an entertainer, but tell people like, or maybe just add the extra initiative to like put them in the right direction. Just say like, which I know you do in the beginning, like your shit. Like I see there's like little disclaimer thing or like a
that was more of
like a funny.
Well, that's more to like try and get around YouTube guidelines. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. I don't even know why that. But now it's kind of like at least it's a disclaimer like this isn't real.
So I think, and this is what I genuinely believe, is that if you ever get, which I would love to like sit down even off camera and talk to you more about God, like got closer to God and you saw life for the way that it actually genuinely is as like the guy who created you, you will start to think a lot more about being like, I'm not saying you're selfish, but you'll think a little, your mind literally thinks differently. Like when God literally transforms you, it's a sanctification aspect, and like it doesn't make sense really at first, and then once you start actually diving into it, like you literally get made, it says you become a new creation in a sense. So like I think if you ever at some point do get closer to God, you'll see a little bit more of like what I'm saying in that aspect, and you might in a way consider more of like any possibility, even if it's not like at the end of the day, like it is up if somebody chooses to crash out or like take steroids in a bad way or gamble in a bad way, like that is on them. But I think it's our job, and that's why I'm so open about my faith on my platform, is God's given me this platform. If I can help bring other people to Jesus and to actually find genuine like security, like again going back to what I mentioned earlier with like people maybe getting into steroids because insecurity, you can find genuine security, genuine fulfillment that is an everlasting fulfillment. Like I always explain, there's a story in the Bible about the woman at the well, and she's trying to get water, and Jesus goes up to the Samaritan woman, and in the Bible, Samaritans and like the Israelites were like, they had beef. So when he was coming up to her, she was like, why are you trying to help me or whatnot? And basically the whole concept was him telling her that he's like living water, meaning you don't thirst again. When you drink from Jesus, you don't thirst for the things of this world. But when you don't have God, a lot of people in this society, they chase after everything they can: drugs, money, sex, women, gambling, like whatever it may be, to get that extra little dopamine rush or that extra little like high that will give them that temporary fulfillment. But at the end of the day, it's like drinking salt water. I tell people, it's like you're thirsty, so you go get this thing, but you're left more thirsty after. It doesn't fulfill you long. But I say like genuine relationship with God is a thing that fulfills you. It makes you literally never thirst again for any of these things. Not to say that they're bad though. I'm not trying to tell you like gambling. Like I think you could still do all that stuff in a healthy way. That's like moderation, or as like a sport. Like, maybe for me it might be going to a nice restaurant. For you it might be, putting that money you would have spent on the restaurant food, but playing like blackjack with it or something. Yeah. Like I don't see that as being wrong.
But if I was, say I was like really close with God, how do you think my content would be different?
In the way, it's hard for me to say. I think it would just be, I think you would still probably do similar to the same stuff. I think you would just glorify him more in it. It's when you get closer to God, it's more so putting, how can I serve him and the people that he loves rather than serve myself directly? But again, there's a balance to all of this. So even me, like, you don't see me just talking about God in every single video. Like, it's a balance of like being relatable in a sense as like a normal human being, like a gym bro like me who just goes to the gym. I play video games. The trading, like I do a bunch of little random things, but I also have a foundation rooted in Jesus. So it's like I do my Bible studies in like our Discord 3 times a week. I try to give back in a sense while also still doing all my other things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you have to make like God like the for only thing and everything. It's like you, in a sense, even if you did get closer to God, could still, in a sense, like have fun now and then, maybe gamble in a healthy way that leads to like, I don't know, it's hard to say gamble in a healthy way, but like, I don't know, like in a safe way maybe is a better term to do it. But I'm not here to like judge and say like, oh, you can't do this, or God's going to say you can't do this and can't do that. A lot of the wrong Christians will do that and sit here and say like, you have to stop gambling or else God's not going to love you or want you, or that's all a bunch of bullshit in my opinion. It's just like, yeah, God wants your attention in a sense. If you put God first as like the foundation and you're rooted in him, meaning like whatever happens outside of that is just like whatever. Like when you get that mentality, then it's like, I think that's okay. And then the Holy Spirit will guide you into like kind of what is right and what is wrong. And maybe he reveals to you that you should stop something like that, but maybe he won't. So again, like I'm not going to sit here and tell you like what it's exactly going to change or tell you what's right and what's wrong. That's like up to the Spirit to work within you as you get closer to God. But I don't know. I feel like there's so much more fulfillment, bro. Like when you find, like when I have someone come up to me and they're like, yo, you helped bring me to God or bring me to like to Jesus or something, or like it helped save my life. Like that's so much more of a fulfilling statement than if they say like, yo, you caught me in the gym and I've lost this much weight. Like, to be honest, that's cool. But like, I don't care about that nearly as much as like their eternal salvation and like knowing what comes with that even on earth, like the what you get, the fruit from being close to God here on earth even. So like, I don't know. I feel like it's a really cool feeling when you get that.
Okay, I think you've lost me a tiny bit though. So I would be doing the same things potentially, but that would still. The difference would be like I would be more promoting God within my content as like that's like the base of my lifestyle.
Maybe it's I don't like, again, this is me speaking hypothetically because I'm not God. You know what I mean? I'm a male with my own issues that I struggle with, but. Maybe it's a safer aspect of doing it, or maybe it's a way where you give winnings to people or to an organization, or maybe there's like different ways where God can still use even something like that for his glory in some aspect, where it's not you just trying to get as much money as you can. Maybe it's you're trying to get this money so you can donate it or something. You know what I mean? Like,
but I still have the like. When I have bread to give away, like this video you guys will see later on in this video, I'm giving away a bunch of money because I have a little extra money to give away. So I'm still doing this. So why do I need to be religious to like follow that path? Or like, I don't know if Steve will do it's religious or not, but like he does the whole like super degenerate thing, but he gives away a bunch. And I still want to do those things, but that decision isn't guided by my relationship with God. It's just guided by like, that is what I would like to do.
So I believe that regardless of you thinking it's not, I believe that it is guided by God, because what I believe it says in the Bible, you're created in the image of God. So you have God's morality stamped on your heart. We know right from wrong without having to directly know a relationship with him. We're his creation. So in a sense, we have the DNA of him. So we're more likely to understand like, this is right, even though I don't have a direct relationship with Jesus. Like, I still know it feels good because he made it, he made me this way for it to feel good, for me to give money away to people. So I think it all stems back from the Christian God. It's just like you don't know it quite yet. Like
that makes a lot of sense.
You know it without, like, it's still like we're all made in the image, so we know right from wrong without having to know the relationship. Like, you don't have to read your Bible to know it feels good and it is good to give money away. You know what I mean?
I think that is all a refreshing breath of air for me, because it's like part of the reason because like I said, I want to be religious and I like know there's a God and there's like a plan for me, all this good stuff, but it's been very intimidating for me because it's like, all right, but like low-key it sounds like this God is gonna see me as like everything I'm doing is wrong. So it's like, do I really want to like explore that too deeply? But now everything you've said makes perfect sense, as far as like the whole like Jesus died for our sins thing. Like it makes sense that I can still do what I'm doing just with a relationship with God. And and to a large degree, like I already have the relationship with God within me, but I've just not been able to diagnose everything that I'm doing as like the credit it to my relationship with God. So I agree with everything you said. I think that's refreshing to hear.
Yeah. If God did happen to move through you and tell you that you needed, let's just say this, like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like if he said you had to stop gambling or you had to stop doing this or that, would you say yes to it? If you felt like God genuinely was moving you in that direction, would you say yes to it and or would you try and?
Well, it depends on like exactly what that feels like to me. Cause I don't know what that feels like. Like, cause to me, it feels like gambling. It's like, yeah, it's obviously a bad habit, but it's something in which I derive entertainment from.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like I love gambling with my friends. Like it brings me close to my friends. It's a fun activity that we like love to do together, bond over. So overall, I see no foul in gambling if you're conscious of what you're doing. Like if you go into gambling and you're like, I with an expectation of like I need to make money, this and that, then it gets to this weird relationship with it where it's unhealthy for sure. But I don't know what it would feel like for God to come at me and be like, this isn't your path, this isn't good for you, because it seems like such an innocent, enjoyable activity.
So you feel like it's
to me.
not wrong. So the reason why I ask that is because like at the end of what I really believe is God, not himself would do that, but maybe he would, because all God wants is your yes, meaning if he was, you would submit to him regardless of what you are trying to get out of it. Meaning, so like there's a story in the New Testament where Jesus is talking to a man and this man's trying to follow him, and he like keeps the commandments, like he's a good man, but then Jesus says, sell everything that you have and follow me. And the man like has so many possessions, he's a very wealthy man, and he's not really able to do it. So then basically he's not able to follow Jesus. But I generally believe it's not, Jesus wasn't going to make him sell all of his stuff. He wanted his yes. Like if that was to happen, he just wants you to say yes to it. Meaning like, I love making money, right? But I still submit to God. If God told me he wanted every single ounce of dollar I've ever made, I would say yes. Like obviously that would kind of suck, but he just, not that he's going to take it. It's just, he just wants my yes. So I'm saying if God was to guide you in a direction that you feel like isn't fair, isn't right, you will find so much more of a like fulfillment, like in putting it in God's hands and just submitting it to him. And it's hard for me to explain that to you because you aren't like, what you get it. There's different stages to like a relationship with God or whatnot.
All right, boom. Yeah, but regarding the giving the God the yes, I can't say that I would or would not do that just because I don't know what it like feels like to have a relationship like that with God. Because right now, what it sounds like is some fucking dick on the street being like, "Give me all your money," because I don't know him, and as at this point in my life, like it doesn't feel like I owe enough to him where it's like I will sacrifice everything. Like my mother, yeah, for sure, because that's like I know, and it's like God's your creator, but like it's hard to wrap your head around that when like my mother actually birthed me and I don't have the relationship with God yet to commit myself to that. So no, I can't say I would give my yes to God now, just because I think it comes from a place, because I'm not doubting it by any means. I'm very open-minded to the experience, but I just don't think I'm educated on enough to confidently be like, yes, like this is something I can commit to.
No, that's 100% valid. I feel like, I don't know, I would love to talk to you more about it. I'm extremely, like, you'll find, like, I'm very passionate about this in the case of, although, like, I just met you today, like, I'm huge on, like, especially when I meet someone, like, new who I know, in a sense, even has, like, a platform. Like, I love talking about God because, like, I know what it's done for me, and I know what it can do for, like, you. So, like, I don't know, like the way I would, like, I hope I'm not like ever trying to force anything, but it's like if I had the cure to cancer, I wouldn't keep it to myself.
Yeah,
I would probably tell people about it. So I feel like I have something that I want everyone to have and experience. So that's why you'll find me talking to you about it.
Yeah, well, and I think that I've had this conversation. A lot of people talk to me about God because for whatever reason, like you would know better than me, but for whatever reason, like my lifestyle and the things that I do, a lot of people think that I like really need God, but I never have somebody approach it in a direction of like, oh, this is like how this works and explain what your thinking is. I get 100 DMs a day of people saying like, you need God, bro, find God, bro, like whatever, like almost like insulting that it's like, it just feels, it like pushes me away from the experience just because I have people, that's all they say is like, figure it out, like you need God. And it's like, fuck you, you don't know what I need, because I'm content, I'm perfectly content with my life and I love my life. And like, as far as I'm concerned, like I'm on the right path for myself, and it's offensive that somebody that I don't know is going to come and be like, do this, you need this, trust me. But the way you've explained it is perfect, and it's I appreciate that conversation a lot, because I've actually learned something, and it feels like I've advanced my education and willingness to look into religion, Jesus Christ, God, and all that stuff. So you've approached it in a perfect way, I would say.
Dope. I'm happy I didn't crash out on that one. But I would love to talk to you more about, like, dude, I've looked into so much like the history of it, because like I used to be a little bit skeptical for a while in my life, and I like was always obsessed with science and history, and honestly that helped me further my faith, because I looked into like certain things that like most Christians don't know about, like add like the historical aspect of Jesus, and like it's crazy. So to me it's like I know even now that there's evidence for it, so I'm like I have to believe in the teachings of this man, and that's why I'm like so big on letting others also like kind of experience it. But God loves you, bro, like very much, and he's gonna bless you, I feel like, in your platform. And I think because I know you're saying like you're very cool with where you are in life now, but I really truly believe like as happy or fulfilled as you feel like you are now, you will always get to a point where you are still left needing something, and it's going to be God. So I highly recommend finding that earlier than later, just because it keeps you grounded and it makes everything so much better and easier, because you're not putting your life in your own hands and having to get there fast. It's putting it to God's timing and putting it in his hands, and it's such a weight off your shoulders when you can like genuinely go through life like knowing you're doing the right thing, but like your whole life is in the creator, the universe's hands. It's a really like I make a lot of money, right? But I still like put everything, like however it's going to perform, I like put it on God. And like it's such a good feeling, because it's like I just make money easily, and it's like God still.
But to me it feels like I love like the idea that everything is on me, like everything, it's like a game, like it's like the way I look at it, it's like I'm living in a game, and I can do like infinitely different things that are going to be affecting the outcome of my game. But the way you describe it just then almost feels like, okay, it's out of my hands now, like just kind of like go with the flow.
Well, not because in a sense, because still God, there's things that God teaches you in like the Bible of like you can't, not to be lazy, not to be, there's a bunch of, in a sense, there's really good teachings regardless if you want to be religious or not, in the stuff like Ecclesiastes is a really good book in the Old Testament that I highly encourage people reading. It's about stuff in a sense being like meaningless, but it's not saying in a sense where you should just stop working. It's a thing of falling in love with what you do, putting the end result in God's hands, not trying to become your own God. Meaning like if God told me like tomorrow that all my social medias would be gone, like yeah, it would suck, but like I'm trusting in him, and there's like a peace that comes along with that. Even if my socials like went tomorrow, I would probably pick up the next day and restart from zero, start grinding again. That's just because how I am. And so I'm not saying like, because I get the whole video game reference, I used to think about that too, like that's how life is. And like I take every challenge or opportunity as like a new stage in the video game. It's like the next level or whatnot. So I'm not saying it in a sense of like, yeah, it means like you can just sit back and like God will do everything. Like God calls you to take action, to be productive, to not be lazy, to like genuinely like do things with your life in a way that also still like can benefit other people. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But don't you think like God or not, you would be doing, well, I don't know exactly how it would be for you, but you would still be taking the initiative if you didn't have this relationship with God to be productive, become the best version of yourself.
Yeah, I just feel like without God though, it's like what's the point? It's like if there's no God and I'm just doing this for absolutely nothing, it's like what's the like, all right, if there's no God, then there's no like point. There's no standard of
but it's not like you're doing it to impress God. You're doing it to like be able to provide for your loved ones and like give everything to the people that treat you well and whatnot. But God is, it sounds like, perfect and content. So like you're not doing it for him, more like yourself and the people around you.
I would say there's a balance with it. Like I don't know, like I know now, like if I was to go buy like a brand new supercar, like yeah, it's dope, but I know that like I'm gonna be like just as if I was empty, maybe even emptier after that, like after a few weeks or whatnot. It's like I know that those things don't bring happiness. I generally know that the main things that bring like fulfillment and happiness is a relationship with God and having a family. So I understand that whole concept of like providing not just for like God, but providing for like the family and being financially free and stuff like that. But in a sense too, that only truly is a good thing if there is a God, because God in my eyes is the standard of morality. If there is no God, then there's no standard of morality, meaning why is it good to survive? Why is it good to provide? Why is it good to show love to somebody else? And if there's no God, there's no standard, because in that way we're just like like I always say, like the concept's like stardust bumping into stardust. Like if there's no God, there's no morality, because if I was to sit here and like punch you but I didn't believe in a God, or there was no God, it's just stardust bumping into stardust. There's no moral argument for that. But because I know God, I know that it's right to provide for my family. I know that it's right to be productive, and I know these things because I know God. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like life is just so much less, there's just no meaning to a life if there was no creator.
But you knew that, and I guess it kind of goes back to the thing where it's like God created me and I was born with these ethics. But before, like for example, I don't have a relationship, a very strong one whatsoever with God, but I still have that deeply rooted in my personal ethics. And I'm sure before you believed in God, like you were still ethical about it all. Yeah. So it's not, it feels like you're like putting 100% of the credit in you doing good things to God, but I still do good things and I don't have a relationship with God.
You don't put it, yeah. Well, that's why, again, like I go back to the thing, like I believe that standard of morality of like us even being able to say that something is good comes because there's a standard of good, which is God. Because I feel like if there's no God, there's no standard. How can you say if my good is bad to you, like there's got to be a right and a wrong or in it, right? So I feel like you can only know that by God, not that knowing that, like I guess in a sense you're saying you don't directly have a relationship with him, but you're like, if you're giving money away, you're not doing it for God. In a sense, you're just doing it as you feel like that's the ethical feeling in you. It feels good. I feel like that feeling again comes from God. I feel like if there literally was no God, then we wouldn't have.
That is where that came from.
Just from the teachings of like the Torah and the New Testament. And
yeah, but I don't know. Like what I'm saying is that could come from a million places. Maybe it's just a chemical reaction in my brain to do good for others. Like who's to say that is definitely because of God, because there was a book about it? Yeah,
well, not even just the book. I feel like from Adam and Eve, I mean, being created in the image of God, I think it's morally on your heart. But it's like, in a sense, if there's no God, right? Let's say like I believed in like natural selection or like evolution or something. That's survival of the fittest. In what way would me giving money or helping somebody else, that completely goes against natural selection and survival of the fittest? I'm only giving something away because of the morality that God has given me. If I believe there is no God, I believe it would be just natural selection and survival of the fittest, and there would be no let me help somebody else. It's all about me. It's a selfish thing.
I see what you're saying, but in the natural selection, survival of the fittest isn't necessarily like we as humans are still eating other animals, like survival of the fittest, eating, like it's more looking out for humanity as a whole. I think that's a chemical reaction in our brain that like I want our species to survive. It's the same idea as like bacteria wants to spread, because that's the definition of like a successful species is like the more you can reproduce. So I think it's in our nature to look out for other humans, but it's not like I'm gonna eat this fucking chicken because I need to survive, and I only care about like humanity to a certain degree. Does that make sense?
But if it came down to it, do you feel like if you could, I don't know, if you could survive better at the expense of somebody else, would you do it? But there's like, I mean, some people might say yes, but then there might be people who say no. I'll like choose somebody else selflessly over myself. Like, what in somebody would make them do that? If you literally get nothing out of that transaction, but it betters somebody else that you might potentially not even know, like, what type of love is that? Like, that's love, right? Like, would you not agree? Like, if I just met you, right? And let's say like someone was, I don't know, trying to kill you or some shit, and I chose to like step in front and take that, right? The bullet or whatnot. That's an act of love for me, because I get nothing out of that. I get death, which would suck, right? But that happens in society. Like, this is a thing, and I feel like that only happens because there's a selfless, godly love that we know.
That doesn't happen. Like, a lot of people, more people than not, would choose the opposite. So, like, if God, you know what I mean? Like, if God was all of our creator and, like, instilled these beliefs in us, why is it lacking in, like, the majority of people?
Well, I'm only using that argument as a sense of, like, going against how, like, not, like, the whole thing with you saying how, like, survival of a species and bacteria and all that, like that. Okay. I'm using it mainly against that. Like, I know the majority of people probably wouldn't do that, but there's like, and it's usually the people who who have a God that's bigger than themselves, and they understand that concept. So that's what I mean by that.
But like, what about the people that definitely are evil, right? Like, just period. Like, that's not
terrible.
Like, evil people. Like, what's good with those people? How do those people exist?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a fallen world, and in a sense, the devil is like the king of this earthly world. I truly believe that he uses like puppets in a sense and of people, and he controls these people to cause havoc and harm in this world. But there's going to be evil and bad people, because if that wasn't the case, then we'd be in heaven already, but we're not in heaven. We chose out of our own free will, because God loves us, so he gave us free will. We chose to become our own gods. That's what happened in the Garden of Eden. We chose to directly rebel against God, and from that brought in all of the sin, destruction, evil in the world that we see today.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I can get behind that. That's a perspective in which I've not heard about or heard on that topic, and that makes a lot of sense. I can agree with that.
Fire. But yeah, bro, I mean, I guess we'll end that part of this, but if Jesus of Nazareth, this man, historically walked the earth, right? And there's like people said that they literally followed this man, and this guy died, and so had these teachings, said he was going to die, actually died. And then there's accounts. There's 500 eyewitness testimonies that they saw this man after he died, meaning he had to have came back to life. He resurrected, right? And then from then on, Christianity exploded. Like, if there's even the slightest chance that it actually happened, that God actually came as a man, died, and rose again, if that's the case, like, everything he said is truth. Like, all that is, like, true. So, like, I feel like everyone owes it to themselves to look into the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus, because if Jesus didn't like resurrect from the dead historically, then Christianity is fake. And I believe you can test it when you look into it historically, because like we know, like, Abraham Lincoln got assassinated, right? We didn't see it. How do we know? It's primary, secondary resources, articles, eyewitness testimonies. So you can test the life and death of Jesus, who claimed to be God. And if he is God, bro, it's the biggest thing ever. Like,
yeah, I'm not concerned
everything.
myself too much about like, is Jesus real? Did this actually happen? Because what's his name? Somebody explained it to me. I think his name was Robert Breedlove. But he was the concept, the original reason I like started opening my eyes to religion was like, if it is real, the consequence of bashing it, ignoring it entirely is massive, whereas the effort it takes.
Oh, Pascal's wager.
Go
ahead, my fault.
I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm sure it's what you already know about this. But yeah, the consequence is huge of ignoring it, whereas like the effort it takes to learn about it and like open your eyes to it takes like this conversation has been 30 minutes and I've already learned so much about it. It's not like it was taking away from my life to learn about this, so it's worth the effort.
There's more you gain by believing that there even is a God than you lose if there was no God. So like if there's no God, I die being a believer, I lose nothing because I'll be dead, right? Yeah. If I was an unbeliever, die, there was no God, again, lose nothing. I lived my life, maybe had fun on earth a little bit more, and in some people's eyes more fun, die, there's no God. That sucks. Next topic. Crypto. I saw people asking what cryptos did you get into, and then like what, I don't know, just ask them about crypto. They said,
yeah, well, a lot of people like, because they're like, how do you have money to rinse like this in the first place? And I said on the Larry Reels podcast that I made my first $1 million when I was 19. So a lot of people are like, how the fuck did that happen? And regarding that business, I'm actually not allowed to talk about it because I have too many NDAs. But as far as the trading crypto, that's my recent venture. So what happened is I had this business, I was 19, and it was related to cryptocurrency. And I was, eventually I ran it into the ground. Just fucking, at the time I was doing a ton of drugs, completely just like, pretty much, what do you say? Crashed out?
Crashing out.
That's what you say. We crashed out bad on that one. But anyways, in that experience, I learned a ton about the crypto markets and how that all works. So recently I've just, that's how I made all my bread before fitness influencing. And even still I make like a decent percentage of my income from crypto. So people always want me to talk about crypto just because like it's kind of like the 18-year-old dream to like make bread trading crypto and shit. Like the crypto millionaire is like so cool to people.
Trading.
Yeah, exactly. Day trading, I was fucking dog shit at. Like I do swing trades, so like every 2 weeks to 6 months, I'll like actually make a trade. So I've just been, the last year, I've only been trading one coin. Everyone's like, well, how do I do crypto? How do I crypto? I only hold 2 coins right now. Pepe. Well, I only do meme coins too, which is funny. It's even more. It's like perfectly degenerate for me because, dude, fuck all the other coins. No crypto has a legitimate utility that's gonna be sufficient enough to justify the market cap of the coin. Like, it's all about the hype behind it and just like where is the money flowing. And meme coins are the easiest to play, in my opinion, although others would disagree. But there's only going to be like 2 winners, like 2 to 5 winners in the crypto world, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, one of like Ethereum competitors, all this. So I just do meme coins. It's easier. And to everybody watching, I buy and hold Pepe the frog. It's my favorite investment opportunity that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I've been doing it for about 3 years. And Pepe the Frog's the best. Recently, I picked up some of Brett, B-R-E-T-T. It's another meme coin. It's effectively, it's a frog, but it's blue. So that's why it's cool. It's
I gotta buy these before this goes live because they're gonna pump the coin.
But yeah, no, they're huge. They're already like multi-billion-dollar cryptos, which is insane. It's like Pepe the Frog is bigger than like United Airlines. Like these meme coins are no joke as far as the market cap goes. So yeah, I don't know exactly what other advice people want other than the coins I hold, and it's not necessarily advice other than Pepe the Frog. Honestly, if you want to get rich, financial advice. Can I get in trouble for that?
Yeah.
This is all right. It's not financial advice, then. But I buy the frog.
The wording, it's you say what you're doing, and then
yeah, okay,
you'll get okay.
I'm buying Pepe the Frog and a tiny bit of Brett, but mostly Pepe. And that's all I have as far as
you got me
goes.
Convinced. I might have to.
It didn't take much, just the frog, dude.
Thanks. So crypto is what made you money off rip.
Yeah, I was 18, 19, dropped out of college, and it was like, well, I just got pretty lucky actually. At the end of the day, it was like it was at the start of the last bull run, so like anything you invest in, you make money, and that's actually a big reason I went poor too, is because I thought it was easy, and I got really cocky. I'm 19 years old, and it's like everything's going up. So I was like, yeah, you can make money, no problem. And then the bull market hit, and I lost all my money. So it happens quick in the crypto world for sure, everybody. It's not as easy as it looks. But yeah, that's how I've done it all.
So based off of what you told me, because you said, I mean, I guess we can do it for the video. So your biggest loss in gambling was, you said 300?
200K in 14 hours. It's all on my kick. A lot of people don't think it's real. A lot of people think I'm sponsored. It's on my kick. It's live streamed, gambling on different casinos. Like, people have a hard time comprehending that this is not sponsored money. Just because everybody's sponsored, that loses big money on the internet. Everyone's sponsored, but this is...
You're losing big money. That's your own money.
It's all my money, and I don't get paid a fucking cent from these casinos. And you can tell it's real because I gamble on multiple casinos in that one stream, and when you're sponsored by one, you can't be... gambling on these casinos. Also, no casino would ever pay me $200,000 a week to fucking gamble on their site. I'm not 1/10. I've gotten offers from casinos, and it's about 1/60th of that amount of money.
I believe it's legit.
Yeah, so it's on my recent YouTube video. It's on my kick. But yeah, biggest loss, $200,000 in about 14 hours, which definitely was pretty ass. And then in crypto, the biggest loss, like I said, like 300K in like 5 days. Which was ass too. Liquidations hurt.
Damn, bro. What was you thinking when you lost? Like,
at the time,
300, like your first big. Like, what were you thinking about?
Oh my god!
That?
At the time, I did not like have bread like that to lose. But it was like I've always had the belief that I've always been so confident in my ability to bounce back that it's never been too big. Like if I went poor again today, and you said the same thing, if you went poor again today, like it would be no sweat. Like it would obviously maybe for like a couple days I would pout, but then it's like I did it once and now I've done it twice. I can do it a third time, fourth time, fifth time. So that's why I'm comfortable taking like such aggressive risks in financially, because it's no problem to start over.
I feel like I struggle because like I like can track like my like net worth and like all my money in, because it's like a cumulative like program. Because I have like an advisor with Wells, and like I'll check it now and then, and I love just to see it kind of like go up over time, right? Yeah. Other than when I have to pay taxes and it goes down big hit, but it's like goes up a lot over time, and it's cool because it's like a smooth hit. So I feel like with yours, if you were to like look at that, it would just be like make.
Yeah, no, I don't even look at my net worth. Like I always have an idea of what it is, but I don't look at it just because it would be agonizing, honestly. Just to watch that shit, it's the same idea as when you buy a crypto and it's a really volatile one. Everyone says like, just don't look at it and just like buy stuff you believe in and hold. It's like, I believe in myself and I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I believe in myself, but I don't need to be watching me lose half my fucking net worth in a week because like I don't need to be too focused on that or it would hurt.
What's your favorite thing to gamble on? Like I saw people they came in my Discord chat. They were like telling me to go and do Plinko or something.
Oh no, not the Plinko balls. Yeah, Plinko is my favorite game by far. Like,
really,
there's something about it that tickles my brain to like a massive degree. Plinko and roulette are my two favorites by far. But as far as the fastest, like if it was like a challenge, someone came to me and was like, "I'm gonna kill you if you don't rinse this $1,000." Like within like 5 minutes, like I would go to Plinko right away. Like the fastest way you can lose money is Plinko, but I don't know. I think it's the animation. I'm the best customer for these casinos because the animations, the lights, it tickles my brain so hard that I'm just down with losing my money because it looks and sounds so incredible. But Plinko's my favorite. Yeah.
Have you been to Vegas yet? To like?
Yeah. I go to Vegas. Not like too frequently, but now I live a few hour drive away, so I go to Vegas a good bit, and I love it there. Vegas is my personal paradise on earth. But I love like the material shit, like the nice hotel rooms, bottle service. Like for some reason, maybe just because I'm 21 years old, but like the material shit, I love it. And it's like the experiences. It's just, yeah, Vegas is like my playground.
I hated when I went to Vegas. Like I like having nice hotel rooms. I always like trying to. It's like Pokemon trading, like Pokemon cards every time. But I know there's the big Hard Rock's down here, the casino with the guitar.
Yeah. I went to that one a few months ago. It's in Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it there. That's a great casino. You didn't like it?
I've been in one time. I got like food there. So what's your biggest? Are you allowed to say that your biggest win?
Yeah, it's on gambling, or like the most money I've ever made in a day was like $500,000. But like in recent times, my biggest win is, wow, I have not been winning recently. Fucking in the last 6 months, I don't think I've cashed any of my big wins. Like I won, like it was I did it on stream. I won like $50,000 or $60,000, and then I lost it like within a few hours. Like I've literally not made money in the last year gambling. It's just like a guaranteed loss every time. But yeah, no.
At least you got the social media stuff going now a little bit.
I guess so. Yeah, but like crypto, like this year I've done multiple $100,000 days. Like crypto has been good for me, so that's how I like stay level-headed about the whole gambling thing. But yeah, recently the money has not been good recently as far as gambling and crypto goes.
I'm gonna start getting my crypto advice from you.
Dude, the frog. It's not advice, I guess. I didn't know you can get in trouble for that. That's crazy. Because in one of my YouTube videos and in my last YouTube video, I was like, "This is financial advice by Pepe." I literally say this is financial advice, but I think it could be played off as satirical because it was a funny. Like, yeah, it was a joke.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah,
but that's crazy to me, bro. That's actually so. I didn't know you were being. Do you know TJR or no?
Not personally, no. I've seen him. No, I don't. I don't know if he does a ton of crypto. I thought he was big into options.
Oh, he does crypto big time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I thought. Yeah. I mean, I met up with him two or three times. He's got Like I always see him making videos and like because he's I guess in, like the major coins and stuff like how I guess that there is like a bearish season like this how much he's down his net worth changes by like millions. I couldn't do that. Like all my money is in a like 14 like I think I'm up 14% this year. It's like different ETFs and like indexes. Yeah, that's where I put mine. It's like the safe, like.
Oh, that's so boring. Though, yeah, dude. I know. It doesn't change at all.
To me, it's like it because I want to do like the family thing and retire. So like to me, it's like
that's fair.
Yeah, it's like if I keep making as much money as I'm doing now, like I should be able to retire realistically if I wanted to. Not that I will, but I could by like 27.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm like I love the fast shit. Like if I'm kind of like planning on. I'm still young still. I'm like cool like going broke multiple times. Like if I plan on going broke probably 3 more times before I like figure my shit out.
That's
And
so
I'm like
wild.
prepared. I'm fully like mentally
Yeah.
like word. Like we can go broke and like
Yeah.
it's fun. It's cool.
I like that the relationship with money in a sense is not healthy, but in a sense part of it is with you is healthy because you're not letting it like actually get to like your.
It just comes and goes so fast. It's like, and I remember after I lost a bunch last week and like the whole YouTube video, I've had a ton of people reach out to me. But what my boss texted me is like, dude, like, yeah, he wasn't even close to concerned because he knows how it goes. Like he does the same shit like crypto and all the crazy shit. And it just like, he's like, it comes and goes so fast. Like there's no reason to trip. I was like, yeah, exactly. I'm not so concerned about it.
Dang, bro.
But
Like,
you're gonna get that. Trust me, you're gonna get that. You're doing the options shit. You've lost 1,500 and it sucked.
Yeah.
Soon you're gonna. I'm telling you, it's going to scale because it just. Well, I guess you don't have like the same mentality around it. Like I have the relationship I have with it is like very dopamine induced. Like it's like I
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to hit, and if it
Got
doesn't
you.
hit, I need to up the stakes. So you don't have that relationship with it. But everybody that I know that does options, regardless of how much is in their bank account, they need to up the bet every 3 months, or it's just like I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. For me, it's like it's more of a right now. I'm still like the learning experience stage with it, so it's like I'm not going crazy with it. But I hate like losing money. If I see like something hit my PayPal, it's like 2 bands. I'm like, all right, it's like, nothing crazy. But when I see like if I lose or go 2 bands goes out, then I'm like, all right, nah, I gotta eat McDonald's for 2 weeks now to make up for it. It's like,
Well, you just
nice-
watch it too close. Like you just gotta take a breath.
Yeah,
You don't need to be.
you're taking fish oil.
Yes. Do you want any?
You gotta get the.
I have to take it every like 2 hours, or I don't get enough fish oil in.
But that brand is terrible, bro. It's so low dosed.
Well, I just saw the big bottle. I was like,
Yeah, no, but there's like you gotta get like EPA, the D. I forgot what it is. There's like a bunch of different ones you can take. They're like well dosed. You don't have to take as many.
All right.
Or
well,
cod liver oil. Take it as like a spoonful.
oh,
That stuff.
It tastes so bizarre. The fish oil is nice because you can just swallow it, no problem. Like I take 60 of these, no problem in a day, and it's like
You take 60 a day?
I got to get my HDL up somehow.
How many calories is that in that? Because they're like, because they're like low key got calories in them.
10 calories each, so 10 times 60, 600. Yeah, that's like a meal of fish oil a day.
That's crazy.
The low-key, I've never thought about it like
Bro,
that.
what?
I'm supposed to be cutting right now. And that's not no calories that's going to build muscle or anything. What
That's
kind of
fat.
calories is that?
It's
Fat?
fat,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a lot of fat just drilled into
600
my body.
calories. Yeah, bro. There's a better brand. I'll have to find it. I remember.
Yeah, let me know, because as much fucking fish oil as I can get in my body, that's the
Yeah.
goal, bro. If I could take 100 a day, I would.
Really?
Yeah, I love that
I
stuff.
might have to do it because I remember my HDL was like 60. It was like the lowest.
60? That's amazing. I would love to have HDL at 60. Mine
I
is at
think that's
19
what-
right now,
Okay.
which is
yeah.
crazy.
People were
Like,
trying to say that mine being at like 50 and under 60 was like indicative that I was on steroids. Because it was like on the low end of like
no,
the regular
steroids. Whoa, 60 is great. That's like perfectly healthy as a
Scale. I think
man.
it was. It's just like the range was like 60 to 80 you're supposed to be in or something.
Yeah, I would love to be at 60. That's incredible. A
Really?
steroid, bro, because that's the thing. If you post your blood work, it gets diagnosed by everyone that thinks they're a doctor, and they see something
Yeah.
like a flag, like you're barely out of reference. They think being out of reference means if any of these doctors got their blood work done, there would be things out of reference, and then like that's happens. It's normal to be like slightly
Yeah.
out of reference on things for various different reasons, not just because you're taking testosterone and came off. Like your testosterone is at 200. My roommate's testosterone is at 200 his whole life until just recently he started taking TRT. Like there's countless different reasons why
Yeah.
things would be out of reference that's not steroids. And people think I'm going to die because Greg Doucette posted that video. Like there's so many more things that go
man.
on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Greg, bro. He's made so many videos on me.
I believe
I don't-
it. He
he's made-
really is. He's like, I don't know how he's always been, but that's his whole persona now is like shitting on people.
It just it gets clicks at the end of the day. Like the twins,
I mean, yeah,
bro.
he's
do
got
not,
his bag.
Twins
so.
do not like him right now.
He makes a video about the twins every week.
Yeah, see, like it's I don't like that because that's like a news. It's like news station content. So you're capitalizing off of like other people's success in a sense. That
Yeah.
are relevant because like it gets you more clicks when you do like a catchy title. But yeah,
Yeah, his recent video, he did a video about his own product, and it did like 1/5 of the views of all of
The
his other
other
ones where
ones,
he
yeah.
has you in the thumbnail. It's like Alex Eubanks, low testosterone,
Yep.
taking SARMs or whatever. Like that's the shit that gets views. But like to a degree, I get it because he has to post a video every day, or his strategy is posting a video every day. Like you have to go to
come up
other
with
people's
stuff.
content to a certain degree if you're gonna do every. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you post? How often do you post on YouTube?
Now, I don't know, maybe twice a week I try and
Oh,
do,
that's still
but
a lot.
I don't know,
like
but
3 times
I used
a
to do
month.
3 times a week in my like prime, but like I definitely don't focus on YouTube as like
Mhm.
at all my like main. Like I focus on some like probably everything else way more than YouTube.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Why did you stop doing YouTube? I
I
love
feel like
YouTube.
Yeah, I mean I feel like I just like now I'm more focused on like maintaining my brand and building other businesses off of it.
Mhm.
So for me, it's just like I am like super busy. So it's not as much like I don't do as much vlog stuff as I used to because I am a lot. I'm at a different stage in my career now. I've been in it for 4 years.
Yeah, that's
right?
fair. At a certain
I'm more
point, you
focused
need
on
to
brands.
capitalize on your virality, and then you
Yeah.
can't focus on much as being viral. Like it's
Exactly. I don't travel like I used to. Taking more vacations. now,
yeah, exactly. Like
enjoying
you
life.
can only, which is weird that Greg is still so fucking focused on. I guess it's like part of the whole thing he's doing, but he's been doing it for so many years. Like I
Yeah.
like Sush, he stopped posting or
Mhm.
focusing on it because he's like focused on his businesses, Young LA, this and that.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal. I don't see myself like focusing on being viral for.
Yeah.
Like once I
Take-
can start making a ton of bread off of it, like I'm pretty much
capitalize,
gonna, like,
be smart with it, put the right people around you, and start getting into various other businesses where you can just kind of like, that's the goal.
yeah,
That you don't,
100%.
passive income, that's like the goal. Retire.
I don't think I have any passive income. I've been trying to figure that out for so long, and it's just like I still live. The funny thing is, I still live paycheck to paycheck. I don't know how I can because my expenses just go up dramatically. But to be fair, it's a pretty straightforward breakdown. I was looking at my expenses the other month, and it was like $20,000 a month on like normal person things, and then like $90,000 on gambling. So it's like at a certain point, I know how to fix the crisis of living paycheck to paycheck. But I also, again, like I enjoy like everything about what I'm doing. I enjoy my existence. So
Bro, have fun, bro. I'm not gonna ever bash that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're, I'm not gonna say that's like bad. I don't think. I mean,
I'll
you're
figure it out
enjoying-
eventually because I do need to have like a family and shit.
Yeah.
So like at one
Yeah.
point, but I'm 21. Like it's not. I'm not in a rush.
See, I'm trying to do it like young for sure, but yeah,
You
bro.
want
I
to
mean,
have a family right now?
no, like probably by like, like kid.
Yeah, like you have a child.
Kid by like 28, probably 27,
How old are you again?
28, 24. Just turned 24.
Oh, so you got time.
I'm making. I would like to get married next year.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'd like
How
to
many
get married
kids do
next
you want to
year.
have?
Two.
Two?
Yeah. I think a boy and a girl would be cool, or 2 boys. Definitely 2 girls would be tragic. That'd be like losing in Plinko. Yeah, like I'd rather
I
lose.
agree, but I'm scared because it's like notorious for steroid users to have girls. For some reason, steroid
This would be
abusers
good.
cannot have boys. So if I have like 6 girls, I'm gonna fucking blow my brains out. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Fingers
That's tragic. That would be so tragic.
crossed. I would be really disappointed. Even
Yeah, no, I don't even like thinking about it. It's like stressing me out.
So if
right
you have
now.
2 girls, are you gonna keep just like pumping out kids so you have a boy?
I feel like
or-
at that point, then you have to.
I think so. I think
you
I'm
have
not
to.
giving up until I have a boy.
I really want a son. I hope he plays football, and I just want to watch him play football. That's like that's all I want to see. I just want to be cracked.
That's your life goal.
I'll invest whatever money I got to, and like I want him to play running back or middle linebacker or wide receiver or DB and be
What
absolutely
if your
the
son
most
is
wicked.
gay? Like, is that
Ooh,
gonna...
man, yeah, they were getting into the. I would, man, yeah.
I've thought about it a bunch.
It's like the gay son or thought daughter
Yeah,
thing.
both
It's
of
like-
those would traumatize me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It would be.
It would be a bummer, bro.
It'd be a.
Oh my god.
I just pray that God.
But
God
he's
knows-
got
God-
it.
hey, it
If
says
you
that
have
God knows what I can
He's
handle.
got a plan for you. Maybe you're supposed to
Yeah.
have 17 gay sons. You know,
Ooh,
maybe that's
man.
what you need in your life.
Oh yeah, no, dude, that would be. Yeah, I don't know, but I hope to have like the family stuff
Yeah.
younger sooner than later. I didn't have the best like family growing up myself, so for me it's like it's always been a life goal of mine to like run it back in the way that I wish it was for me growing up. It's like that's
Okay,
like
yeah.
that's like honestly probably my main motivator in life is like to do like the Hallmark Christmas dinners and like Thanksgiving with
Yeah.
the fam. Like that's like my like ideal. When I think of like happy success, like where I want to be in 5 years, I think of like that.
Yeah, I
Play
think
five.
of the exact same thing. I'm just younger, so I don't see myself
Yeah.
doing that for like the same time frame as you, but for me to be 20.
You're 21, right?
Yeah, so 6,
Yeah.
7 years from now, that would be dope.
What was I doing when I was 21? Where's Steve at? I got my GT500, I think, when I was 21. I think that's when I first started like understanding content a little bit. That's when it started picking up. Was around when I was 21, so I get that. Dang, bro. Do you play video games at all?
Fortnite.
You're chopped.
Dude, Fortnite
Dude.
is lit. I've only played. I remember in high school I bought a PlayStation so I could play Fortnite, and ever since I've never downloaded a different game on my PlayStation than Fortnite.
Oh, you're chopped, bro. Play some Warzone.
You don't fuck with Fortnite?
Hell no.
Oh, dude,
that
and the
game's
dances and the whole like.
ass. I mean, I
Victory
used to
Royale
back
is
when it was
awesome.
good. That game's washed now.
No, you're just dog shit. It's a fun
Okay,
game.
I
dude.
am now. Yeah. No, Warzone's so much better, bro.
I don't know. I've dabbled, but now it's hard to get into video games because, well, A, I'm just busier, and B, I don't like it used to be when I was in high school. It's really exciting to play video games because it's like come home, play with your friends, or when I was in college, your friends. Now none of my friends play video games, so it's like I'm just gonna play alone. I could stream it, I guess, but I'm so
Yeah.
dog shit that people don't like watching it. Like it's not entertaining.
As long
to
as you're
watch
like
me.
funny or something, I don't know, like bro. I mean, I'm like above average. I'm not cracked, but like I mean, I'm kind of cracked sometimes. But I play with like these two kids who are just absolutely wicked. So they
Yeah.
make me feel so much better because we literally win nonstop when we play Warzone. So you just have to get like a god squad to play with.
I also have I don't know how it is for you. I can't read chat when I'm playing video games. Like I'm so dialed on the game that like I forget
Yeah.
about chat, and then everyone's like,
I reach out too much, and then I swear I blame them all the time for when I die. I like wish I didn't reach out as much when I play like Warzone.
what do
I
you
swear.
stream on Twitch?
Yeah. Let's do a little Twitch stream. I got my setups in there. I'll just have to show you it. That's just for the trading where her and I play
Yeah.
Minecraft, which we haven't done in a while.
Bought this expensive ass monitor just to
Yeah.
Minecraft better on.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, all right. Are we working out? Are you trying to lift, or are you?
Yeah, let's work out. What time is it? It's 6:30. Yeah, let's get a lift in.
Gyms here are absolutely ass, but so I wish they were open. They only are open on the weekdays. Ronnie Coleman's supplement brand's down here, and they have a private gym with just Panado equipment. That's where I train at, but they're only open Monday through Friday, which sucks. So we have to go to this hit-on-ass gym down the street. It's still
All right, I mean that's fine. I just
Still
want to
play.
get. What do you want to hit? Just anything with
did-
the legs, and I'm down.
I did back yesterday, so I'm cool to do like some shoulder action or like
Yeah, I'm down.
cool, smooth. All right, so we'll go do that. Thank you guys for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think we had a lot of good talks and convo. Thanks for coming out here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, really
this was a
appreciate
blast.
you. If you ever need anything at all, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk more. I'm gonna try and we'll get you. Got to get you a tax guy.
That would be nice. It's been an ongoing battle of finding an account. It's so hard to find. I don't know. Like maybe I'm just too young, but
No,
I've not been able to find a good one.
Bro, I got a really good one. Also got to get you in the cars. We'll take a rip in the M5.
Yeah,
See if
let's
you like
do
that
it.
at all.
I'm
Yeah.
super down.
We'll
I
rip
used
the
to drive
M5.
an M4, but I didn't even know it was a nice
that?
car. Like
Oh.
I just liked it because it had red seats and it was a convertible. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I ended up buying it, but I had to sell it when I went.
She's
poor and
looking at
shit.
the M3s right now.
Yeah,
Just trying to convince her.
I'm an open hater of car guys. Not
Really?
like car guys in themselves, but it's just like for a guy like me, I don't see why somebody would spend so much money on like a nice. Look, okay, here's the thing: like a nice BMW, like an M4 comp, looks the exact same as a dog shit BMW if you just like a newer year. So I don't see why, if I don't care how fast my car is, like why would I not just buy like a base Lamborghini instead of like a crazy nice fast loud car?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, bro, I feel like, I mean, I get addicted to speed like that. Dude, I had a R8, which is the same motor as the Lambo, and that shit was dog shit slow. I sold the R8 to go get my Shelby, but the R8 was probably my least favorite car I've ever had. It was so slow because I mod all my cars, and I know what cars are more capable of like putting power off of just like a little bit of mods. Like the Supra, I had a 700 wheel horsepower Supra. That thing stocks like 400 wheels, so I added hella to it off of just putting like 8 bands into the car.
I guess it just doesn't like tickle my brain going fast in the car, like the loudness of it all. Like I just like I'm like whatever.
See, if I wish I had my Shelby, bro, I'd do like a 60 to like 150 full with you in it, and you would be like,
Yeah, maybe I just have not. Well, I've not felt it. Like I've driven a Ferrari. I don't know which one it was, Lamborghini, and like they're like kind of fast, but not as fast as I'm sure what you have going on. But it's never been like, whoa, that was so sick. It's more like, oh, this is red seats and like convertible and like I don't know. I guess I like the cars for like the look and like the aura that it gives, rather than like
respect
what's going on behind the scenes and how it works and how fast it is. But I don't know.
We'll
To each their own. Like you don't really with the Plinko balls, and that's my bread and butter is Plinko balls. So yeah.
All right, let's go get some food and then we'll go train.
All right, word. Sounds good. Peace out, everybody.